myself, right? That might work.
That usually helps.
We're live, ladies. We're live.
When I go live, I'm never like.
You always trying to catch people off guard.
Because that's what I do. What's good, everyone? Welcome to the Q&A for the last episode. I'm joined by my sisters here, Alicia and T-Baby. I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves, starting with Alicia.
What's good, YouTube? AK back again. Talk about some more Thrones questions that we couldn't get the last stream and discuss the trailer for episode 4. Let's go.
Hey everyone, it's T-Baby. Sorry I'm faithless, but my back is killing me tonight. So I'm curious to see what questions we do have, and if I'm a negative Nancy, I'm sorry, but not really, because I'm gonna say what I have to say, and I said what I said. I'm gonna use Beauty Queen's line.
Well, I got that from Nene Leak, so I want to make sure I'm not copyrighted.
Nene Leak strikes again.
I said what I said.
That's going to be the running theme for this evening. Okay.
So please don't take it to offense. We all are going to have different opinions, whether we love this episode that just passed or hated it.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. So let's start with our first question. Who has the first question?
That'd be
yeah, first one here is from our lady Sam R09. She said, what was the point of Night King Walkers? Said it makes no sense at all. What was their true purpose? That they were going to just kill before anything got happened, or like why did they basically sit out the game while everything was going on? Why only come in at the end?
You want to go ahead and take it first, AK?
I can only say it's poor writing. They took quite a bit of the mysticism around the Night King and the prophecy and whatnot. I don't think they handled it well. So, we got what we got. And they said what they said. That's pretty much it.
T?
I know Beauty Queen's going to have a more put together reason why, but for me, I'm like with you, AK. It just seems like they were an afterthought in a way, because they played more of a role in the past episodes. So I'm with you. I think let me try to make sense of something. I'll say that possibly what I've heard other people say is that he didn't necessarily need them at that moment because he was basically taking care of everything. But I don't know. It's still kind of dumb to me that he didn't use them at all. But then we don't know. Possibly he was using them, because I always had the theory that the Night King, no, that didn't make sense after watching the episode. So I'm going to just say bad writing too.
I don't have a more put together response to, but my thought process was that they were probably doing what most generals do. They have probably had like a group of whites that they were responsible for, that they had to direct. You know what I mean? Because you had whites that were, infiltrating different parts of Winterfell, and so maybe and plus he didn't really need them to fight because he had sheer numbers. So them hanging out in the back and kind of like probably just directing whatever whites that they were responsible for, at least. And the only reason why I'm talking like this, please forgive me, everybody. I'm just thinking as a military person, and that's just where my mind is flowing. So it's nothing like I'm not trying to I'm not saying that's what actually happened. It could very well have been very poor writing, and they didn't have anything. They just wanted them to be there and didn't really have anything to do. But for me, my mind just normally just straight goes to what a battlefield looks like, and how mostly a lot of times that's how that works. You won't really find too many generals that are like out there in the front lines with the grunts. And so he had sheer numbers. If he didn't really need for the White Walkers to really fight, it was okay for them to just stand there. Because to me, it just seemed to me like they were like his own version of a Night King's Guard, if you will, if you want to call it that. I don't know, but that's just the way that me from my military lens, at least that's how I viewed it. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's just how I viewed it from my military lens.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I always like to hear from people that were in, actual battles in any of the armed forces and how they look at the strategy. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that thought.
It's interesting that you thought of them as the Night King, like night guard, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, but it would make more sense to why they were just always next to him, and that they weren't like, even if they weren't in the middle of the battle, I would think it would make more sense to have his generals, as you would say, at least spread out on the outer parts instead of just one area. But
Yeah.
I do like the idea that they're his Kingsguard, basically, so they wouldn't be but so far away from him. That would make more sense. But still, they were shitty Kingsguard if that's the case.
Uh-huh. B has just joined us. Hey B, say hi to the peoples, and then AK can repeat the question for you so you can answer it, if you wouldn't mind, AK.
Hey
Word up.
guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Hey guys. Sorry I'm late. Mom life. And yeah, hit me with the question.
Word. Okay, so Sam wanted to know what was the purpose of the Night King having the White Walkers, his generals, sit out of the fight until the very end, I guess.
I guess I mean I'm thinking it's probably the fact that each one is probably controlling like 50,000, 100,000 whites or some crazy stuff. Like it was like a million whites out there or something. So I don't know. I think maybe because it's costly. Like if one of them goes down, a lot of the attackers can go down, even though it's a whole bunch. But if they were to say like in the battle, because of how things are set up, okay, you could kill a couple Dothraki, but if Jon and Daenerys get off those dragons, they do have two against the Night King's one. Like in the event that they were to be on the field when the dragons got loose, then they would have been able to take out the entire army damn near probably just by, you know, killing the whites. Even though, wait, no, they don't burn, or maybe the Night King doesn't burn. Who knows? It's crazy now, but that's what I was thinking. I was thinking they just didn't want to risk them dying because so many whites would die. I did hear the Kingsguard theory though, and I thought that was interesting because that means he has hella Kingsguard. You got 99 Kingsguard.
Right. Where the fuck were those assholes at?
I think they once Arya killed them, they were all pretty much decimated.
Yeah, true. All right, you guys ready for the next question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this was from Our Lady Plexi Bertrand of House Retract. Says, so is the Great War the war against Cersei rather than the Night King? And do you think that was by some weird design that Martin had?
B, why don't you go ahead and take that first?
I'm what the hell? Like y'all don't really want to know my opinion on what this is. If this is really how it's gonna happen in the books, if the Great War is against Cersei, like I understand you face a threat and then you still need to face Cersei. But if Cersei isn't like made of light work, but just because of politics and having a fresher force, she's more of a what I'm saying, then I'm gonna have a problem because I feel like the climax of the story really like the what's really heart wrenching should be that fight, you know, to end winter for the dawn. I almost feel like the Cersei thing should have like happened beforehand. You know, they should have just dealt with that. And then I'm sorry, I got excuse me. They should have
Don't
just
worry,
dealt with that.
she's voicing her discontent
Yeah, I
too.
mean, she clearly has things to say. She's like, no, like that's not right, Cersei. Give her a break. But I just, I think that is extremely freaking disappointing to be honest with you. Like I don't really even have anything else to say about it. That's my opinion on everything about it is it's extremely disappointing. I don't have anything else.
T baby.
I lucky hated this episode, y'all. I'm sorry. There
It's
it
all
is.
good. It's all good. It's all good. T baby, your thoughts?
That means that we're twins for real, cause like we on the same page. But what was the question again?
It was, do you think the Great War is actually referring to Cersei rather than the Night King? And was that a tidbit that may have been tossed to D&D from George R. R. Martin?
No, I think they're doing their own thing. Um, I think he told them like who sits the Iron Throne if it is. Well, now I'm starting to think that there will be one. I think he told them like, yes, the White Walkers do die, and I think he told them that yes, the who sits the Iron Throne. I think that's what it is. I don't think he tells them how they get there or anything like that. As far as like the Great War, I do think even in that trailer, she's referring to the Great War as the war against the White Walkers, and that the last war is the one with Cersei, saying that this will end all the wars and that, you know, it'll be a different type of reign. So, but I'm with B. It's kind of disappointing that the Night King, you know, he fell at Winterfell. It didn't go past there or anything. It was just one and done episode after they hyped him up for so long. But I think the route that the TV show is going is that the Great War was the one that they just witnessed, and that the last war is the one to come.
What are your thoughts, AK?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't see how that would have fit into Martin's plan because, you know, Cersei is a dangerous woman, but she's nowhere near as dangerous as the Army of the Dead. So I wouldn't say that that's something Martin did at all. You know, D&D had paid him a lot of money to write their fan fiction, and y'all know I have nothing against fan fiction, so you know, they did what they did. That's about it.
Hmm. Um, yes, I'm gonna agree with T that the Great War was the one against the White Walkers. I think because the White Walkers are always. I'm gonna try not to do too much book, but sometimes it's unavoidable. The White Walkers and is always that looming threat on top of everything that's going on, right? Because every time we go to a POV that's in the north or we're with Bran, the looming threat is the White Walkers, the Whites, because in the books the Night King has not been revealed yet. So I do believe that Cersei is probably a huge strength. If I were to say how things probably are going to go in the books, it's probably going to be a reverse of what we saw on the show. Or it might be something that happens simultaneously. And I say simultaneously because as of right now in the books, there are three wars that are getting ready to happen simultaneously. You have the Battle of Fire in Essos, the Battle of Ice up in Winterfell, and then we had Fagon who has just landed in King's Landing. So those things are happening simultaneously, and I don't think the show was going to be able to do that. So they had to pick and choose how they were going to make it happen. Um, and of course, it didn't pan out. So it didn't pan out for viewers the way they hoped that it would. So, you know, me personally, I didn't have a problem with it because, again, I'm not really that vested in the show, so I was okay with it. So, yeah, I think the Great War was the one with the others, and I think the next huge conflict that they're going to have is the one with Cersei, because they still have to deal with that. So that's my answer, such as it is.
All right, that's a good one. I like it.
What's the next question, please?
Let's see. I don't remember who asked this, but it's could Bran have skin changed Arya? I personally don't think he did. You know, we know he skin changed Hodor, but Hodor has a simple mind. And we know from Varamir Sixskins, if you try to jump into someone's mind who's fully conscious, they usually end up just going crazy. So I don't see that Bran would have done that during Arya's moment at all.
Yeah. What do you think, B?
Yeah, excuse me. You gotta repeat the question for me. Doing a lot.
Do you think that Bran could have skin changed Arya during the fight?
Man, listen, I was hoping that he did something because he was still warged. And it didn't show us where he was. At first, I thought he was saving Sam. And I know that's like a real tinfoil thing. But I was looking at it, and it was just how Sam was, how he was kind of just like bumbling through the fight. But someone was always telling him to move or getting him out the way or whatever. So I kind of felt like, well, maybe he's protecting Sam for some reason. But I don't know. I really hope that he did something. I don't think, I'm going to go ahead and make it definitive. I don't think that he was warging Arya, and the reason is because Arya went through all that faceless man training and everything like that. If in the end she gets to kill the Night King, and freaking Bran had to warg her and use her body and her expertise for her, then that really sucks. So no, but he had to have been doing something because he was still warging or skin changing Alicia. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mary, you got something else to tack on?
No. T?
Yeah.
I just lost my train of thought. Say the question one time.
Do you think Bran could have skin changed Arya?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. And y'all know I love Bran, but basically, what it seemed like was happening was Bran was warging into Ravens to locate where the Night King was, because I think at that point no one knew where he was at. As far as, and then come to think of it, when he was looking at the Night King, his eyes wasn't rolled in the back of his head, so that would have shown that he was at least warging and skin changing at that moment, which he wasn't. So I'm going to say no. But I think that's the issue I had with this episode, is that I find people whose theories are more entertaining than what they came up with. Like, there were a lot of missed opportunities. And to just have Bran say, oh, I got to go now, that just annoyed me. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
Right, yeah, no need to be sorry. That's your opinion.
It was stupid. It was bad writing. Like, they showed us Bran could do this, and would have been hella entertaining is if Bran started warging into some of those dead people and fighting back, and the Night King was like, "Oh shit!" Like, give me something entertaining. But to say Bran, he's this person who's the Night King's target, and somehow all he says is, "I gotta go now." Who does that? Like, go where? We're in the middle of a fucking battle, and you say, "Gotta go." Like, who does that?
T-Baby rant.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Ah.
I don't think he was warging anything. I do think he was. Probably like checking out what was going on, and probably going into the trees, because he didn't seem, to me, when the Night King showed up, he didn't seem scared or anything. He was just like, like he knew what was coming. At least to me, that's what it appeared like. I could just be making that up. I don't know, but I don't think he was warning anybody, especially not Arya.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment too. So we'll roll on to the next question. And this was from Steel510 Rain. He said, George R. R. Martin is still listed as an executive producer, so he must have known and approved, right? I don't know how all the producers are actually involved. And I honestly also don't know exactly how producers or executive producers are involved. So I'm not equipped to answer that question. I don't know that anyone in the fandom would know that specifically.
I think as far as producing is concerned, the mere fact that he is the proprietor owner of the actual story, he will always get producing credits because it's essentially, even though it's not portrayed exactly the same way that he has written it, it is his own product. And they do use certain aspects of some of the things that are in the books on the show. So in that sense, he still gets producer rights, even though he may not be there there personally. Anytime a person has contributes in some way to a show or a movie, they are considered a producer, whether it's financially, whether they wrote like a couple of lines, whether they, at least that was my understanding when I was looking at some behind the scenes for another movie. And somebody had actually contributed money to the making of that movie, and they were listed as an executive producer. That's all they did was just give money. So but I think just by mere fact that essentially it's his story, he'll always be listed as a producer. At least that's just the way that I see it. At least that's my understanding. If I'm wrong or mistaken, please correct me.
You can't take those producing credits too seriously because in most shows, after a certain time, like the main actor or actress ends up getting producer credits. I think it's just a title that they bump up. I don't think it has that much merit as far as like, oh, they're under control of certain things. It's just a title, really.
Yeah.
Because everyone is just based off of just history of seeing TV shows and seeing how you can even look up like your favorite TV shows. You'll see that the actors, they weren't producers or executive producers, but as time went on, they ended up getting some of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not nothing to say that they're like in charge to oversee what can be written and what could be done.
Mm-hmm.
No, Martin sold it so that they can do adaptation, not for him to be the one in control. So.
Right. Do you have any thoughts? No?
I was turning to the baby.
Oh, okay.
Next
So AK, next question, please.
Back, hold on one sec.
Okay.
Okay. This one is from Flo Bella. Oh, go ahead, B.
I don't think it means anything. I think it's a story. He's gonna give producer credit, make this money last season.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed. As a Flo Bella asks, so many characters survived because when Bran said, I gotta go, he started playing the award game with everyone and helped them out, maybe, with a question mark. I think that's some tinfoil. I don't think that's how it happened, but if there was some type of weird twist where Bran was truly in people's heads in the weirwood net pulling some strings, that would make it interesting. What do y'all think?
D.
Okay, so are you saying that they think Bran was warging into people, and that's
Yeah.
how? Okay, no, because then you can't explain why John just started yelling at a dragon. You can't explain how, even if he was warging into these people, how he would still have the strength to make them better than what they actually are. I don't know. They never planted that in the show to say that Bran can do all these things. It'd be cool to see, but I think unfortunately they're not that creative when it comes to Bran. And Bran was just warging into the Ravens to see where the Night King was, because at that point they couldn't see where he was at. That's the only thing I think Bran was doing, and that's unfortunate.
Your thoughts? Okay, we'll come back to the AK.
All right. Yeah, I gave my thoughts. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
I'll be you back.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Now permanently. All right.
No worries. Okay, so the question was, so many characters survived. Someone's theorizing. Because when Bran said, I gotta go, he started, skin changing into everyone and tried to help them out of whatever dire situation they were in. And sentence with a maybe question mark. What do you think about that?
I had hoped that, because it was just like, you're still warged after we see the birds. You're still warged. There's a point where you're still warged, or skin change, or whatever you want to call it. And then all of a sudden, you're not anymore, and Theon's a good man, and then like shit just goes left. So I was hoping he was doing something and we find out, but I don't know. I really don't. I'm at a loss. Like, I feel like this episode, y'all just was like, oh, what are your expectations? Okay, I'll just be taking those. I'll take that. I'll take those expectations, and I'll just roll it up here with some shit and set it on fire. So I don't know.
That's what they did to my expectations. They rolled it up.
Yeah.
They lit it on fire. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say no, because I don't think the show is gonna try that hard. I think at this point they're really just trying to get that last season money. And we out here expecting something great, but maybe they will. I don't think so though, because that would have been a great twist to show us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Show him maybe jerking or moving or something or whatever while he's in people's bodies trying to save people or whatever. Or like what T Baby said earlier, with him working into whites and having the whites fight, other whites, and like that would have been great. Like, what would have been great for me is, you sent all the Dothraki or whatever. Why not control the Dothraki that come back? Or why not control the freaking Unsullied, who are like the unsung heroes of the whole episode? Why not have dead Unsullied and have them shield their brothers? Like, do that if you're, working into people. But I just don't think so. I think it's a loss. I think all the prophecies are dead. And yeah, there you go. Be rant done.
Yeah, I feel you on all of that. So are we ready to go on to the next question?
Yeah.
All right. This one is from Tookie Mello. What's going on, Tookie? Been a minute since we've seen you in the chat. Good to see you. All right. And Tookie asks, do we believe A Song of Ice and Fire is a classic coming-of-age story dressed in a historical fantasy epic, similar to Stephen King's It?
You take that one first, AK.
Damn you! I was trying to find some moments to think too.
Sorry.
I know you ain't. All right, so thinking in that lane, I can see how the comparisons were made, but I think the magic that's present in Game of Thrones is a lot deeper, somewhat darker than it was with It. So, I mean, it does end up being, the children of these great high lords that did a whole bunch of random fuck shit. And their kids are, helping to clean up the mess and try to actually settle and survive. I don't think it's that reminiscent of Stephen King's It, but I can see how the comparison could be made, because in there it was also children tapping into a force of magic to try to kill the big bad monster. So, and I don't know. I'm on the fence. It has nodes of that happening, but I can't say that I would fully put it in that category, if that makes sense.
B, what are your thoughts?
I don't think it's a coming of age story. No. I think it shows, it shows a lot of characters growing from, children to adulthood, and what that journey is for a lot of people and how different it is for a lot of people. But I don't think it's an overall coming of age story at all. Mainly because it's like most of the story happens in what is the present for them. There's not them going back into the past and reflecting and then saying, "Oh, this is what impacted me" or whatever. No, like you're already there. This is the story. It's happening right now, and you were children and you're growing up through it. And I don't think that we're even going to see a lot of them get to full adulthood.
And it sounds like Baby Wildling agrees with you. Take it away, T.
I'm gonna just agree with y'all. I don't think it's a coming of age story. That's it. Y'all gave better explanations than I could have came up with.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a coming of age story, but I do agree with Radio Westeros. Shout out to Lady Gwen and Yoke Boy. I agree that it's more of a story of a heart in conflict with itself, because you find a lot of characters. Martin has a really good way of, whether you agree or not, of making everybody a villain and everybody a hero in their own way, because every action that they take, they feel justified in taking it for their own personal reason. They feel that they are right in doing it, whether you agree with them or not, based on their experiences, their the lens in which they see life. Um, and you find them constantly within, in you find most of the characters, not all, but most of the characters are constantly like in conflict with themselves. I don't know how well the show portrayed that in a sense, but I know in the book it's done very well. So it's not necessarily a coming of age. I think it's more of a how do people um, uh, uh, how it's a how actions have consequences, um, and how people deal with the consequences of their actions. That's, at least that's just the way that I see it. All right. What's the next question, AK?
All right, let's see here on the list. Got another one from Tuki Mello. It says, do we think John in the end will accept being Ned's bastard, or will he finally wear like armor, like Tyrion told him to?
T, you want to go first?
Sure, why not? I think. I guess I'm not understanding the question completely. What you mean? Is he not going to accept? I think no matter what, once he told Danny, I think he accepted it, that he wasn't a bastard, that he was actually Rhaegar and Lyanna's child. So I'm not sure what the question exactly meant. My apologies.
I think it was maybe he'll stay completely embracing, his Stark side over the Targaryen side. At least that's the gist that I got.
So are you asking more, is he going to keep that he's just a bastard and not tell anyone else? Is that what the question really is?
That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
If that's what you are, I could see John doing some hoe shit like that and it would drive me crazy. But I think he's going to be probably the way that they'll probably push it to the point where he feels as though he has to take the crown from Danny, because maybe she shows signs again that she's ready to just kill people or have the throne. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know.
It's okay. B, what are your thoughts?
So like you mean on the TV show, right? Like if you're gonna
Yes,
say
it's
I'm
the
gonna
TV show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No, because what kind of show is it gonna be? If he's like, I'm Ned's bastard, it's okay. I know claim to the throne. No one's gonna push me towards it. He's not Ned's bastard. Everything that he's known has been a lie. Like his whole life is shattered. And the only reason why he isn't completely broken yet is because he just had to fight for his life. Which is interesting. I hope we get to talk about like what's going on with people mentally, because I had some really interesting thoughts after watching the show. But no, I don't think he's going to accept being a bastard at all.
What do you think, AK?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think he doesn't necessarily want to rule, but he has always had very big internal issues with being a bastard. So I think he would definitely, let it be known who he is, what his true parentage is. But I don't think he would try to wield that as any type of weapon to make anyone bend the knee.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. He's what most people call a reluctant leader. You know what I mean? He doesn't look for it, but people always seem to be, throwing it at him. You know what I mean? I do think, but I think him finding out what his true parentage is, I think is a source of validation for him, because of the way that how he was raised thinking that he was a bastard, which meant, that he had less value. And so I think him knowing that, him finding out that he's not really a bastard, who he truly is, I think is a sense and a source of validation for him. But on the other side of that, I think that he would identify more as a Stark than he would as a Targaryen, because the North is his home. But if he had to rule, he would do it out of sense of duty, not because that's what he wanted to do. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, that's a good thought. T, did you go already?
Yeah, she was first to go.
Right. Okay. All right. So we can go on to the next one. And it's another good one from Ree. Says, do you think that, the episode was a trick to, for something crazy happening now that, the Night King has gone down? Like almost like the calm before the real storm, and then stick us with the pointy end for whatever happens with Cersei, or some huge plot twist that might come back in later. What do y'all think?
Do you want to take that first? Is she tending to?
She might be. T, go ahead and go first.
All right, what was the question again?
Oh, B's back.
I thought y'all said T, not B. I'm sorry. You better repeat the question anyway. I'll be honest with you. I was like, what did she say? I was hoping.
All right. All right. Okay. This is from Ree in the chat. Do you think that the episode was meant to trick us into, something crazy happening later on that we don't know that's coming, and this is like the calm before the storm, and then they really stick us with the pointy end?
God, I really hope so. Like, that would be great. Because at this point, I'm starting to feel like I wasted 9 years of my life. But, yeah, I hope so. But I honestly think it's probably just going to be more Cersei. And so whatever the twist is, it's going to be some Cersei thing. Like, I think the Night King thing is over. Like, the battle for the Dawn is over.
Yeah, that's fair.
What about you, AK?
I feel the same way. I think, we're going to see a lot more details in The Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring, but for what's happening now in the show, I think the Night King is done. I would love to see some epic plot twist with him coming back, maybe give Bran the Doran Martell strength to get up out the wheelchair and shock everybody with some random fuck shit. But I don't know. I can only hope that they might be that clever. However, the past few seasons have not shown that. So I don't know.
What about you, too?
Not that clever. I hate to say it. They're just not. And then even if somehow he pops back up, everyone will be left talking about, well, how the fuck did that happen? Because half the episode didn't make no damn sense. So no, let this Night King shit just go. He came through, he didn't succeed, and they're moving on. That would drive me nuts if he just popped up out of nowhere. It's like, I'm still here, bitches. Like, I don't know. But then once again, it drives me crazy because it's the fans that are coming up with these creative ideas and they're just going for that straight. It's like, okay, we have to get past the Night King to get to who's going to be on the Iron Throne. That's what it felt like. So I think it was wrapped up in that episode. They killed him. Like, when they show you they killed someone, like, they really showed you. And I think we have to realize that.
Yeah, I'm with all of that. Let's see. I believe we had another question from Plexi. I can't remember if we read this one. Y'all correct me if we did. But she asked, how do you feel about the show now that the Night King went down before Cersei? They've told us since season 2 that there's only one war that matters, and that's the Great War. Well, the Great War was quite anticlimactic for me, even though, Arya looked cool doing the stab and all that. It still left me wanting for how much they've built up this guy coming in to bring in the Long Night. And, the Long Night was akin to, it was even less actually, not akin, less than the False Spring. So, that's how I feel about it, man.
What about you, D? Lady D?
Can you repeat it? I'm sorry.
It's how do you feel about the show now that the Night King went down before Cersei? Yeah.
I said this before. I think that this is some bullshit. I think that the Cersei thing should have happened or whatever, and the whole of Westeros would have had to mobilize against the Night King. Like, what was the point of this promo of showing us this obsidian wall in the Riverlands? Like, was that really just to fuck with us? Is everything at this point just to fuck with us? Like, I don't like it at all. There you go. There's your answer. I don't like it at all. Tell me, chat, do y'all like it? Is it just do y'all like it? Are y'all feeling the fact that it's over and now Cersei is the big bad and that's the whole point of the whole story? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I would want to hear Beauty Queen's answer because I feel like hers is going to be more positive than mine.
Yeah, go ahead, Manero.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but I don't really have a real vested interest, so I was good with it. I enjoy. I truly enjoyed that last episode. I loved it. I thought it hit all the marks for me. I was okay with it. I didn't go in it with any real expectations, because for me, from the time that I've been watching this show, they haven't really shown me that they were doing a lot of, delving into a lot of storylines and stuff. So I didn't have any expectations that they would fulfill a lot of those things. I think they just, they they created the episode in a time frame to hit whatever points they needed to hit in order to tie it up in a neat bow. I will say though that my thought process is it's going to be the person that you least expect that's going to be the demise of the Night King. It's kind of like, again, and I hate to do this, but I don't have any other point of reference to go by. It's like when I was watching the last movie of The Lord of the Rings, Arwen was the one that ended up killing the king, the head Nazgul, the head king of the King Wraith. I would have expected that would have been Aragorn because he was the one that was going to be king, but it wasn't. It was her. Out of all people, it was her and a hobbit that ended up killing this dude. So it's always the person that you least expect that ends up being the downfall. And sometimes Martin is good with misdirection. You're so focused on this thing, you're not really paying attention to this other thing that's just quietly happening over here to the side. And so you kind of get thrown for a loop, for lack of a better term, when everything, unfolds and, comes to, and eventually everything just settles and it becomes resolved. So for me, what I got out of that episode is everything is not as it seems, and it's gonna be the person that you least expect that's gonna have the most impact. That's just the way that's what I got out of it.
And I really like that idea. I didn't even think of that comparison with Eowyn. Well done. Well done. I like that a lot. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat right now. We appreciate y'all coming through. We got about 21 folks watching, 23 likes. Y'all coming through for the girls. I appreciate it.
T didn't get a chance to answer.
Yeah, go ahead, T.
I forgot what the question was, but
damn it to hell.
But I'm just saying, that's why I'm glad that Beauty Queen went ahead of me, just so that we can balance it out. Otherwise, you'll just hear me be saying this was shit. And, it's like not everyone thought this was like a shitty episode. There are a lot of people who really dug it, and I definitely want that to also come across. Not everyone, not everyone's going to agree on everything, but it wasn't like everyone thought this was a shitty episode. Just happened to be being beat. I just don't go super hard right now. What was the question?
Okay, let me go back. Damn it, what was the question? Where did it go? CT, I don't appreciate this nonsense.
That's the good thing about these chats is that I like when we don't agree, because then you start getting these perspectives where, like, again, no one thought of what Beauty Queen is like, oh, that's hitting home. So maybe the next time you watch it, you start to enjoy it more with that perspective in mind. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still like, this was shitty. People.
They should have been dead.
Oh my
God. Who does that?
I'm sorry, but how many times? I'm pretty sure Sam died twice on screen. I'm pretty sure he did. And then somehow he's still alive. And even though I can't stand Jamie, I thought Jamie, Pod, and Bran should have died a few times. Torment. Yeah. First of all, John yelled at a fucking dragon. He should die off of that alone. And y'all know I couldn't stand when Jamie tried to fight a dragon. So if you're going to yell at least Jamie had something like he was going to at least hit it. I was just like, ah. And then, of course, there's that theory that, I hate this theory, that John was screaming, go, 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 because he saw Arya and was trying to distract her.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, I heard that this morning.
It's like,
I'm not with that.
They're like, go back and watch. And I'm like, but wait a minute. If John screamed, go, 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 he now made an attention that someone was now coming after him. at the very least. So I was like, that didn't make sense. And then it's like, even if he was screaming that, why didn't the White Walkers turn around then? Because they can hear, if they can hear her blood drop, then shouldn't they be able to hear John scream, go, go, go? See, never mind. I'm off topic. I'm sorry.
I think a lot of people are trying to find an explanation, are trying to
Exactly.
find things in order for it to make sense to them in their mind, because I think we as a society, we're so trained to have resolution in stories. And this story has been ongoing for decades, and we still don't have any resolution. And this last season was supposed to give everybody who loves the story some resolution, and we're not getting and I don't think people are getting the resolution that they want. And so now they have to find it elsewhere, which is why you have a lot of fan fiction.
Yeah, but that's a stretch.
It
It's
is a stretch.
I
I'm
was
like,
like,
who does
really?
that? Where's that?
We're really going to say he said go, go,
But
go. They
but
was
but
like, just slow watch it and then put the caps on and then brighten it up a little bit and then go by a 360 angle.
go go Power Rangers.
Not the
Like,
Power Rangers.
yeah, okay, okay. John said go. All right.
All right, let's go on to the next one. And it's another good one from Ree. Do you think Cersei and Euron will bring in the next long night? I find that interesting because it makes me want to compare the Amaryllis princess and the Bloodstone Emperor, who were brother and sister, and he overthrew her. And Euron kind of fits the bill for that right now. So I can't say that that's what's actually going to happen, but if it did, I think it would fit very well into the narrative. And fingers crossed, maybe we'll see some cool plot twists like that.
Too much imagination. It's not going to happen. Too much.
Right, it's almost too clever for D&D to come up with.
What do you think, B? Lady D, I should say. Lady D. Because that sounds like I'm saying T.
Y'all gonna tell me what is it?
Do you think Cersei and Euron will bring in the next long night?
Man, if Cersei and Euron bringing the long night, I honestly think that would be the greatest thing that's gonna happen to the show. Straight up, they bring in a long night and then it just ends with decimation and sadness, and like that's just how it ends or something like that. I don't see how they're gonna do it. I feel like you have to have certain magical ability. It's not just stabbing somebody with dragon claws. So somebody would have did that by mistake by now. So I don't think they can.
If they didn't, if they had the opportunity to do something with Bran and all they gave us was I gotta go now, they're not going to give us something like that. That's too clever. Sounds cool though. I will give you that.
I'm entitled to agree. I don't think they're gonna bring another. It just seems to me that the Euron that they are portraying on the show reminds me. There's a character. I don't know how many people in the chat are familiar with the books, but he kind of reminds me of Orain Waters. That's what he reminds me of from the books. That's he, especially when he made that comment to Yara that he would just, if things were to go bad, he would just take his ships and ride out. I think he would probably do that. If he thinks that he's getting ready to lose, I don't think he's going to sacrifice himself for Cersei. I don't think he'll do that. He's trying to be on the winning team. And if Cersei's not the winning team, I don't think he's going to stick around. He's going to be like, you know what? This was real. Peace out. But but Cersei said it best. When you play the goal, you either win or you die.
Indeed, I agree. Okay, so we got just a few more questions here. This one again from Tuki Mello. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. There was one from DJ first. So, will John reveal his parentage to the world and claim his true identity?
What do you think, AK?
I kind of think he has to at this point, because once again, John is going to have to step into the role of, Jaharis the conciliator and try to bond these people again. Because even after all of this and so many people died, Sansa's not going to remember or think about so many other people would have died had the dragons and the Unsullied and Dany and the Dothraki not been there to help join the fight. So to try to get everybody back together again, he's going to have to do the negotiations such as they are to try to keep people together and get them in line and actually win this last war that they have to win. So I don't know. I don't see any scenario where he wouldn't have to put that out there into the ethers. So, he can try to direct the path of where everybody needs to go. It makes sense to me that he would totally claim it.
What do you think, Lady D? He might be off with the baby.
T, go ahead.
Oh, okay. You gonna be mad at me? Repeat that question just one more time.
Stay off the damn chat, damn it. All right. Do you think John will reveal his parentage to the world and claim his true identity?
I think it's going to be possibly he's going to be pushed into that position without realizing it. Because it seems like either Sam's going to push the issue or Bran's going to push the issue. I've also heard people say, we don't know exactly everything that Bran told Tyrion. So we don't know if he even told him about Jon's parentage. But I think, like I said, I think it might come to possibility that he sees Dany going back to her old ways or just seeing her in a new light. Maybe her forcing people to now want to go fight another war after they just finished this big war. I don't know how many wildlings actually survived, but remember the deal for them was that they were supposed to just fight this war. They didn't have to fight the other wars. So that's going to have to come into play if there's still wildlings left. And then you still have the North who will be like, even though I think they owe it to her to fight with her because she did save them. But at the same time, I do still think that whole North wanting to be independent, I still think that's something that they want to deal with. So it might push Jon into a position where he has to take it to resolve these issues, even though he doesn't want to.
Right. Totally agree on that.
What do you think? Is Lady D back?
Yes.
Yeah, there she is. You need to hear the question again?
Yeah.
Okay, it's will Jon reveal his parentage to the world and claim his true identity?
I don't think he has a choice. I think I think that's the whole point of the show, right? To set up conflict and political intrigue and all that. So something's gonna happen where he's just basically gonna get outed. That's how I see it happening. So he's really not gonna have a choice. Because he already told Dany, and Sam knows and all this other stuff. So somebody's gonna say something, and then maybe he'll have to claim it so that everybody knows. But I think it'll come out. It's just gonna come out.
I think he will. I think he will reveal what his true identity. But me personally, I don't think there will be an Iron Throne at the end of all things. But I do believe that in the interim, that again he'll be forced into a position of having to take some sort of a leadership role. reluctantly, because I think in the aftermath of, what just occurred, I agree with T. The North still want their independence, and that's what they had originally fought for, and that's what they want to maintain, which is a valid point. And so that's going to probably be a source of conflict, especially since, Danny is still going down to King's Landing to fight Cersei for the Iron Throne. How instrumental are the North going to be in helping her to do that? You know what I mean? And I think that's where Jon comes in. Jon and Sansa comes in, because without them, Danny doesn't have the North, and technically, without Sansa, Danny doesn't really have the North, because Jon, when he bent the knee, he was on his own with that. The North didn't agree to that, and it didn't seem like they were really agreeing to it either, even when she showed up. So, that I think there's going to be a source of conflict, and he's going to have to step up and be able to I don't know how they're going to make that happen, because I like Jon, but he's not really the smartest peg. So,
That man still don't know shit. It's like eight
he's
seasons.
not the fun. He has a good heart, and his he really cares about the North, and he really wants to see the success of the North. But I think his emotional ties to Danny is what's going to really conflict him with that, and it may put him at odds. But I think the callback to Arya telling him that he needs to remember that he is family, that's probably going to kind of center him, because at the end of the day, I think he's always going to see himself as a Stark, not a Targaryen. That's just my thoughts.
Okay, so folks, we got 2 more questions on our list. So that will be the end of the QA session. DJ, you got that in at the last minute. I'm gonna take that. That'll be the last one that we'll put in. So 3 more questions, and then we'll discuss a little bit about the trailer and what we think could possibly happen next episode. So first question in that lot, and toss it back to Reed. She's been giving some good questions this session. Do you think root and stem for Cersei will include Tyrion and Jaime?
That's a good one.
That is a good one. I happen to think that it will. It's always been said, Jaime and Cersei came into the world together. They're going to go out together. And Tyrion, he's been on the chopping block since, the beginning of the season for me, because I think he's definitely going to betray Dany, and she's going to find out about that shit, and it'll be Dracarys and no more Tyrion, and House Lannister will be gone. Well, at least the main branch of House Lannister will be gone. So what do y'all think?
Lady D?
Is the question that all the Lannisters gonna die, or like I just?
Yes. Yes. Will all of them die?
Tyrion's gonna live. That's it.
T?
Yeah, I agree with her. I think out of all the Lannister, Tyrion is probably going to be the one that survives. I can see him double crossing Dany. I just don't think it's going to result to his death. It might end up resulting in her death, possibly. But yeah, I don't think Tyrion's going to die. So I'm with B on that one.
I agree as well. I don't think he's gonna die either. I don't think he'll die. But I also agree that I think he will be the one to undermine Dany. I would not be surprised if he did it for Sansa. At least that's. I mean, last episode, those were the vibes that I was getting. but I wouldn't be surprised. But I think he may be the one to kind of she will do something that will make him rethink his loyalties, as was discussed in the crypts between him and Sansa.
She might threaten Sansa, and that'd be enough for him to be like, "Whoa, she's getting out of hand." Because she threatened Sansa in front of Jon, and he ain't really say nothing. I think she'll do it again, but like Tyrion will pay attention, be like, "Oh shit." So I could see something like that, because they were definitely playing that, oh, you know, we could have worked out, which makes me think that Sansa is never going to talk to the Hound, which is going to bother me. Have a one conversation. That's going to bug me that they not one time spoke to each other, even if it's just to say, "Oh, bitch, you made it." Even if it's that, I just find that. Now, let me shut up.
They might end up speaking this coming episode. You don't know that. They might. So they might give you that.
Oh,
they gave you.
If they never speak to each other again, can we please say that I was right, that that's just bad writing there?
What happened?
If they never speak, because I can see them not having a scene with each other.
I mean, they could always come back and say that they spoke off screen. So.
Yeah, lame.
and I would be okay with it because it's the show. It doesn't bug me.
Yeah, it would bug the hell out of me.
I know.
And like people are like, just
I know. I know.
Okay, next question.
TV and her feelings, boy.
It's just bad writing sometimes. Like, come on. Because you use a lot of theories, and it's like, okay, that sounds interesting. Like, even the questions, and you're like, well, could they do them? Like, you know, that's so much imagination. We're not getting that. They wanted to end that imagination, magic shit right at episode 3, so it could just be focused on the Iron Throne.
All right, so second to last one is from Tookie Mello again. Do we think Varys is the one that destroyed the Red Keep in Dany's visions?
Oh.
I don't think I've ever made that connection, but it sounds quite interesting. I like where your brain's at, Tookie. That's the beginnings of some good tinfoil. I like that a lot, actually. Ladies, what y'all think?
Too much imagination again, I'm sorry. But when you think about her vision, it looks like the fire came from above, not below. So that's the only reason why I would say no.
And this
B?
Did we say that Varys destroyed what? King's Land, like the Red Keep?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He set the was it the Tower of the Hand that actually went up?
Well, Cersei burnt the Tower of the Hand in the book.
Right there. That's different. That's different from this. Yeah. What happened in one of Dany's visions? Do you think it was Varys that actually did that?
No, I think Dany did it. Or either Dany or Jon. The only two people with dragons left. So he probably did it.
Interesting.
I would have to. This is the show, right? I would have to agree. I don't know how it looked up. I don't know how it looked like in the show. So, if there's a vision of her with the Red Keep being charred up and burnt up, I would have to say it's her that did it. You know, Dany is a destroyer. She's not a ruler. She knows how to wreck stuff.
Yeah, true. She has a little bit of Aegon in her.
Ruling is not her forte, but destroying things and being cunning or being clever, yes, I'll give her that. At least from reading Dany in the books. I don't know how they really portrayed her in previous seasons in the show. But from what I've seen lately of her in the show, I don't know. It's just like a toss-up.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely a toss-up. Okay, so last question before we move on to predictions from DJ. What is Bronn's role moving forward? Do you think he executes Cersei's wishes, that either he kills one or both of Tyrion and Jaime? I still don't think that Bronn is going to actually, get all the way up there and do something. He already has his wagon of gold. I honestly would be surprised if we saw him anywhere but Essos before the season ends. Bronn's always about himself first and foremost. So I really don't think that he's gonna fuck with Cersei like that. And he kind of actually, likes both Tyrion and Jaime. So if he's already got his payment, I see no reason that he would still be in Westeros. That's just me.
What do you think, T?
I think that he's gonna go up to them and say, "Hey, your sister paid me to kill y'all," and it's gonna, because it goes always back to what Tyrion keeps saying to him, like, whatever my sister tries to give you, come back to me. I'll give you a better offer. So I think he's going to look at Cersei, but still realize that Daenerys has 2 dragons. Realize that Cersei doesn't really have allies. She just has people she paid for. Like, once the war is over, that's done. Like, it could easily be another rebellion after that. So I think for him, he's going to go and say, what's your better offer? And if they don't give him a better offer, I could see them, giving that tension, like, oh, he's going to do it. But at the end, I just can't see him doing it. Or they might do some weird shit and say he does try to kill one of them and the other brother kills him instead. But once again, that's too much imagination. So I'm going to just go with the fact that he's just not going to do it.
What do you think, Lady D?
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, it is what it is.
What'd you say, B? I could barely hear you.
I said, okay, I'm sorry. It is what it is. What's the question? I'm sorry.
What is Bronn's role going to be moving forward? Does he actually try to assassinate Jaime and or Tyrion?
No, that's right. I believe this is where I was like, I'm agreeing with T Baby. Because see, Tyrion told him from the beginning, like, anybody, ever come a day where that somebody tries to get you to do something, just remember, I'll pay double for you not to, basically. So it's like he's got the queen with the dragons, I'm willing to, I'd rather back that horse. If I was Bronn, I'd send my money over to Bravos to the Iron Bank and either go with it or, go up there to Tyrion and Jaime, because realistically, like, he kind of has to see it through. In the event that Cersei somehow manages to pull it off and wins, in the event that he ran, she's just gonna have people come after him. So the best thing is probably to hide the money and then go chill out in the Riverlands until they make it down south and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. Pay me double."
I feel that.
I'm sorry, hold on.
Yeah, I like where your head's at there, Lady D. And T, also, I do agree. It's, I don't see a lot happening with that at all. But that is just me. Folks, what do y'all think in the chat? And actually, while we're waiting on Monero, real quick, shout out to everybody that is in the chat. Putsy Brand of House Recheck, Airtach, one of my favorite fandom artists, Revengeance, My Lady Aaron Water, I Own Trone, always holding it down, Living My Rhapsody, let me scroll up, Joe Swag, DJ, Mara Jade, a few other people in here earlier. Tookie Mello, great seeing you, Tookie. It's been a minute. Thank you for coming through and hanging with us. Sam RL9, always down with the ladies. Lord Dom, thank you for coming in. Appreciate seeing you over the past couple weeks as well. And I think that's all we got. I'm sorry I can only go up so far in the chat. So thank you guys for coming with us.
Any other stream after this one to shout out?
Not that I can think of. I think it's possible Justin might be doing something on Top Fandom, his channel,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure. I saw a little blurb about it earlier, but I'm not sure if it's today or if it's tomorrow. So y'all just go to his channel and check him out.
Okay.
Manero, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and give your thoughts on Bronn. What do you think is going to happen with him?
I think it could be either what B said or what you said. I think he'll either go to Tyrion and Jaime and ask for a better offer, or if I were him, I finally did get my money. I'm out. Let them figure out their stuff. Let them figure out their own stuff. I'm out. I'm going to Essos. I'm taking my money and I'm going to Essos. Let them figure it out. Why should I continually be embroiled in their shenanigans? Uh, that's just me. But then again, he might go up. I think he does kind of like Jaime and Tyrion, so he might go see if he could get a better offer. Because sometimes people be greedy like that.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's, like I said, Bronn's always up for just Bronn. And Ion said, Top Shelf Fandom is scheduled for Sunday. Thank you, Ion. Appreciate that. So y'all head over to Top Shelf Fandom and hit up, the notifications for Justin's channel. He always has some good discussions going on there.
Yeah, I
So
think JD is supposed to be. If y'all are into this, I think he's going to be doing a live Witcher gameplay later on tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right. JD usually starts up streaming around 11 or 12 Eastern Pacific time. So go ahead, check him out. If you like watching video game plays, my Dragon Brother's the one to do it with. He's awesome people. So y'all want to move on to the trailer and predictions. What y'all think's gonna happen in this aftermath?
Let's do it.
All right, T, I'm gonna pull you out first. What you got?
Basically, from what I saw, we're gonna see them basically burn all the dead bodies. You'll have cheering because they defeated the great other basically, but now the tension is back on because even though Dany saved the day, the North still doesn't want to deal with Southern wars, and I think that's still going to be into play. You did see people leaving, so I do think that they do leave, most likely to go to Dragonstone. Um, but you do see John and looks like Davos. But what's interesting is that Gilly is still there at Winterfell, so I don't know what's going to happen with Sam or what situation that's going to be. But yeah, I think it's going to be straightforward. You're just going to deal with people, how they feel about the aftermath of the war. And basically, it's now the big issue that will Dany just ignore what John said? Will she see him as a threat now? Or, I think they're just going to play up on the tensions with that before Dany even heads out to deal with Cersei.
Lady
All right.
D.
I kind of wanted to look at it because I kind of can't really talk with it. But from looking at it, yeah, guys, 40 seconds of checking it out. It's Cersei looking at what has to be the Golden Company. She looks really pleased about herself. And I don't know if they did the Euron, but Euron kind of looks like, let me pause it. Euron kind of looks like he's being a butt boy here. Like, does he not look like that to y'all? Like, he's just like, okay, Cersei, whatever you want. Like, I don't know. It's something I don't like it because I feel like the Euron that we know is supposed to be scary, and we know that he's not this Euron. But if he's looking this pleased with himself and he's not the one that's outwardly scheming, maybe the big twist in all of this is that Euron like screws everybody over, and we just don't see that coming. Okay, that's my baby just saying that she doesn't like that theory. So let's keep going. We're gonna see everybody get buried. We're probably going to get an accurate account of how many people are left because there should be like 8 Dothraki left and maybe half of the Unsullied. To everybody that was like, oh, Arya doesn't like the D and she's just gonna be like the asexual faces, man. There you go. In your face, Arya for Storm Queen because she's kissing all over Genji. We're gonna see Rhaegal, I guess, grow part of his wing back because it looks like he has a hole in one shot, but another shot he doesn't. I don't really have any high hopes, guys. I'll be honest with you. And I know how that sounds, but whatever. I just don't have any high hopes for the season anymore. I feel like this next episode is just gonna be them going to King's Landing and setting up whatever political struggle is about to happen with Cersei. Like, I don't know.
Oh, you sound so disappointed and down.
I'm trying like really because it's like, all right, it's a fandom and we do these videos and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm really trying to like, but I can't, guys. Like
We
the
always
battle
have the
at
book.
Winterfell.
We'll always have the books. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, that's the one thing we can be happy about is like this was so freaking abysmal that literally like we have the books to look forward to. Like there's no way that the books are gonna be like this.
Nah,
Yeah, that's it. But I don't know. I feel like watch y'all gonna get a filler episode next episode.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Shit.
And then the episode 5 is gonna be a battle. And episode 6, everybody gonna die, and it's gonna end. Like this is just I don't know.
And then we'll be mad at how they died too. It'll be something goofy, like I always say, they trip over a dragon toe, something stupid. Like that's how he died. You like he survived the long night, but that's how he died.
Tripping over a dragon foot.
Yep. Let me.
Oh wait. Well, my thoughts. It's going to be, more strategy and planning, burning the bodies like we saw. Ghost is still alive. He is in that trailer. Thank goodness. I think, I don't know how many people may end up marching south, but I think, once they get through the Riverlands, I'm hoping we'll see Nymeria and they'll be, adding the wolf pack to their ranks because they need the numbers now more than ever. But I don't think they'll march too far south. I think they'll take into consideration how low their forces are compared to everyone else. Hopefully we'll see a little something from the Crenogmen because that's the only way I can think they can replenish their ranks outside of the wolf pack. I don't know if they're going to be clever enough to do that or not, though.
We do see them selling though in the trailer, so we do see that they're on the boats.
Yeah, I think they're going to be.
Yeah,
they'll be traveling. I do love your optimism, though, AK. I really do. I really don't.
I'm trying.
I really don't think they're going to see any Cranigmen because they never. From what I've seen, that group of people have not been prevalent in the show, so I don't see them just adding them as a last minute add-on in the end. I don't see them adding any Riverland or anybody of that nature. It's whatever you see on screen is what you got. That's what you got. That I don't think you're gonna see anything else. I honestly don't. You're just gonna have it's whoever they got. That's what they're gonna work with to finish the rest of their story. So at least that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree with everybody. You're gonna see some aftermath. You're gonna see some blowback. You're gonna see some power dynamics at play, and then they're gonna head off to King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see them in King's Landing in episode 5.
Yeah, P. There, I think it may have been Plexi that asked it. I don't remember. I forgot to copy and paste it, but I did just recall seeing it. Specific question for you. How do you feel now that Jorah is dead and can no longer touch shit?
But then, like, even when he was dying, he was touching shit. It's like, nah, let me stop.
He had gloves on. He had gloves on.
still.
And you can't fight without touching anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he should have just took himself out and just called it a day. But
You can't even let the man die in peace and
nah,
with some
nah.
level of
This was my
hero.
question. This was my question for you.
I
Let
know.
me
I
have
have
this.
to come in and be Westerosi Johnny Cochran in this one.
No, let me have this, okay? I waited years, okay? Let me have this.
Okay.
Just like
Monero petty as hell. Don't want T to be
like
great.
the only one person who died, and she's like, "Yeah, well, you know that. Let me have this one."
I mean, he's dead. What more do you want? He's already dead. I was rooting for him to live, just so he could be there for you.
It was kind of like it didn't matter. Maybe because the thing was everyone was in a position where they were about to die. So then I was like, oh, but you killed this one, like boo. I mean, but he died. No, I mean, any other way by swinging the sword. I mean, it's not. I don't know. His was anticlimactic for me too. I think I was just over the episode by the time he was dead. But I guess the joke dies here in episode 3. He won't touch shit anymore. That's about it, y'all.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We have been on for just over an hour and a half or so. We had some great questions come through from y'all. I appreciate that. We'll be back at it again next weekend. Well, next week, Sunday, I believe I'll still be doing, my live reaction watch. Y'all can come join me. Tomorrow, I believe, T-Baby.
Because you know what? I don't need to pay attention anymore. I might just join.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Well, if you are going to, hit me up so I can actually practice with the new laptop and whatnots, and all the settings. Don't forget to head over to Teflon TV's channel tomorrow for a discussion with the small council, and T-Baby will be on that panel. There is a ginger ale chat in the works in another month or so, is it, Monero?
A couple of weeks.
Yeah, okay, in a couple of weeks. So if you're not already subbed to Monero, please sub to her. Her name day is coming up, and we'll be going full ginger ale for that stream. I'm hoping Lady D is going to have some more conspiracy theories that she puts up on her channel soon. Fingers crossed that Black Wildling will grace us with her wisdom. Besides that, y'all can always find me and everybody else in the chats and whatnot. So, ladies, let's go ahead and get this sign off on. However you want to do it.
Let's start with you, AK, since you're.
All right, word. Yeah, like I said, I'll be in the chats tomorrow. I think there's 1 or 2. I'll have to double check. You guys should make sure you double check your subscriptions as well, so you have all of our lovely fandom family on your calendar. I will be again streaming on Sunday while we watch the episode. Come chat with me if you're so inclined. And that's about it. That's about all I got coming up. There'll be ginger ale chat, and me, JD, and Lav will be getting back to part 1 of The Land Book 2 on JD's channel in a couple weeks. So set your notifications for that, because that's always a fun time. And if more stuff comes up, I will inform everyone, and we'll go from there. So T, take it away.
Yeah, thanks for joining us and listening to me rant about how I hate this episode, but you guys love me, so thanks for accepting that. And look forward to more streams. We have guests coming on. We have Oat Nan that's supposed to be on the next one. We talked to Sam, who's going to be on one, and also Elamar. So that's interesting to get a new mix of ladies on here to deal with our shenanigans and stuff like that. But like I said, it's been real. It's going to be, it is what it is situation. My expectations are low, so maybe the next one will be entertaining for me. And that's about it.
Lady D.
Okay. You can find me on YouTube under Lady Diligence. And thank you guys very much for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. And we'll catch you next time.
Everything they said. I echo everything they said. Yes, thank you so much for all of you who came out to hang out with us. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. Sorry we weren't able to get to all of them, but hopefully we answered a good portion of them to kind of give you perspective of what our thoughts were. I hope all of you had a good time tonight. Um, Please check the description box. All of our channels are listed, so please avail yourself of going in and subscribing to each and one of us if you're so inclined. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And make sure to hit the notification bell so that you know whenever any of us upload any videos or any content. Um, Again, I just want to say thank you to everyone for showing up and hanging out with us. And I hope everybody has a good night. And until next time, the night is dark and full of terrors.
John yelled at
And we ain't got time for this shit.
John